Welcome to episode 20 of Talking Smart with
Pugh
and McCart. I'm Andrew McCart. That's Joe Pugh, obviously. Joe, I said it's a bad hair day for you. I don't have them problems, man. Where's all the slick back gel, hairspray? What's going on?
Yeah, mate. Well, the hairspray's kind of on the back burner for a minute, and it's been sitting quite nicely, but I don't really know what's going on today. I think it's different shampoo, mate. I blame the shampoo. But
Well,
yeah,
like I said to you, Joe, I don't have them problems, so I'm good to go. Yeah, relatively quiet in the boxing world this weekend, other than Joe Cordina. I mean, what a fight that was! I just look at the Joe's last three fights, man. He's just always in a good fight, it seems, as of late. And yeah, great fight for Joe against Edward Vazquez, whose only loss, I believe, was against Ray Ford, who's now going to fight for the WBA featherweight world title against Kolmatov.
yes.
But just sticking on Joe, man, again, what a performance and what a fight from Joe. He seems to be getting more exciting as his career goes on. It just seems like he's in a good fight each time.
Look, with Joe Cordina, I think when he come out of the GB system, he took time to kind of adapt, I thought. And now he found his kind of style. He found his footing in the pro game. Since really when he originally won that IBF world title against Agal with that big knockout, it was kind of like with the Rakhimov fight, he's going to probably have to bite down on his gum shield and show us something that we haven't necessarily seen of him before. And we got that again last night with Vazquez, because Vazquez he was putting it on him. You talk about taking the belts away from the title holder, and he tried that last night, Vazquez. It was a fantastic fight and very, very, very good performance from Joe Cordina, and it shows what a champion's made of: biting down on that gum shield, not getting everything your own way, and producing the goods in the end, mate.
Well, that's it. Obviously, we'll touch on it, but what's next for Joe? But like I said to you, I was at that Ogawa fight in Cardiff when he knocked him out in the second round. And then the Rakhimov fight, which was a good, close fight. Again, Joe, he's willing to trade with you. He's willing to bite down on his gum shield. And if he wants to, he can scrap it out if need be. But I thought last night it was he was in stages, he was scrapping out, but he was trying to keep it long and land a big right hand. But Vazquez is clearly he's a tough man. Tough man. But I thought Joe boxed very, very well last night. And like I said to you, right now for him, he's probably got, in his own words, he's got one more fight at 130, and then he moves up to 135, the lightweight, to conquer that division. But if he has got one more fight at 130, sorry, I'm trying to just do the maths in my head about pounds, it's super feather, then for me, I'm going to be selfish here, and I would like him to fight Leigh Wood. And I'm just going to, you just need to go back on the last three fights, Leigh Wood and Joe Cordina, right? Maurizio Lara twice, Josh Warrington, Mick Conlon for Leigh Wood. Great fights, drama. Again, Lee's willing to bite down his gum shield and trade with you. Joe Cordina, Ogawa, Rakhimov, and Vazquez. You can see, again, great fights. Put them two together, we're going to have a fantastic fight, probably in a stadium. Cardiff, Nottingham, the City Ground, wherever. I think that sells out a stadium, that fight. Well, and if anyone can, I think Leigh Wood deserves that City Ground fight, and he needs a dance partner, and that dance partner for a world title is Joe Cordina, and I would love to see that fight.
Yeah, we spoke about it around the Wood-Warrington fight. It just feels so good when you've got an all-British world title fight, something really domestic you can get your teeth into, and we'd have that with Joe Cordina and Leigh Wood. It's not going to be as fiery, as intense as what the Warrington Wood fight was, because that intensity is what Josh Warrington brings to the fights and fight weeks. But it's a great domestic clash, and with a world title on the line, Leigh Wood, don't forget, he's vacated that WBA, which we previously spoke about, which now Ray Ford's going to be fighting for. Get him straight into a world title shot, moving up straight into the world title fight, and it kind of puts him there.
Well, I looked at BoxRec this morning. You know, like Leigh Wood is now ranked on BoxRec at super featherweight, 2 places above Joe Cordina at 3. So I take
wow.
BoxRec. I don't know how BoxRec do it. Listen, it's BoxRec, man. But
yeah, I think it's a point system. I don't really know.
Yeah, it's a point system, but
yeah.
I don't know. Listen, BoxRec's BoxRec. You take that with a pinch of salt, really. So listen, he's ranked on BoxRec anyway. Leigh Wood up at super featherweight now. So, but like I said to you, Selfishly, I want to see the Leigh Wood fight. I think that's a barnstormer written all over it, and Eddie Hearn probably thinking the same. But then Joe Cordina, does he want to unify the division? Does he want to win another world title? Does he want to? There's Emmanuel Navarrete. There's O'Shaquie Foster, who was in a great fight in Cancun, which would be another great fight. But again, for us selfish people here on this side of the pond in this country, we love an old British dust-up. They produce the goods every time almost. 9 times out of 10, when you've got two British guys fighting for either the British title, a Commonwealth title, or even a world title, they produce the goods and they go for it. And I think, again, Leigh Wood and Joe Cordina will be a barnstormer. Mark my words, if they do get it on.
Yeah, 100%. Style-wise, again, it feels like every style suits Leigh Wood at the minute, just because he is just fireworks no matter what. But Joe Cordina, where he can do a little bit of everything, there's a certain unpredictability with that fight, how it would go. But then, on Leigh Wood's side, we know that at any point he can pull that trigger and get the showreel knockout. Can he carry that power up a weight division? Will he be stronger at 130? Because we know how tough it was for him to get down to that featherweight limit. So there's a lot of variables in that fight, which make it really interesting, really unpredictable. And I really hope we do get that in 2024. A fight that needs to fill out the city ground at the stadium for Leigh Wood. It's got to be really a domestic clash. It's got to be a Josh Warrington rematch, upper weight. It's got to be a Joe Cordina. It's got to be a commercially viable fight for Leigh Wood. And it just so happens that the commercially viable fights are the ones that selfishly we really want, Andy, and they are the big ones.
Definitely. And I think Joe Cordina's the champion. You're going to have to pay him a lot of money to go to the City Ground. I'm sure he would probably want it in Cardiff somewhere or in Wales somewhere. But but then, like I said to you, O'Shaquie Foster's there, that's a good fight for him as well. Do you know what I mean? And even Emmanuel Navarrete is another good fight, because they two, O'Shaquie and Navarrete, they're great fighters. They come to the fight as well. And it will be a good fight for Joe Cordina if he wants to unify them divisions. But again, I'm going to be selfish. I just want to see that Leigh Wood fight. I can see drama. I can see knockdowns. I'm thinking in my head, I don't think this one sees the 12th round. I think either one's going to get the stoppage one here. I just think there's that type of fight where they're both going to want it so bad. It's just going to be an absolutely great fight. And hopefully Eddie Hearn can work his magic and get that done for Joe and Leigh, because it's going to be, again, I know I don't like talking about paydays and how much a fighter gets, but I'm pretty sure both of them will get a ton of money for this fight if it's a City Ground, and they get to put in a great fight for us fans. And I think as fighters, Eddie Hearn said to me in Liverpool a couple of weeks back that he needs to make these fights now, because when boxing gets it right, the end product, which is the fight night, the fights, when boxing gets it right, it's the best sport in the world. And I agree with him. And I think we need more of these fights. We need more of the Leigh Woods against Warringtons, the Conlins as well. We need more of these dust-ups. Was it you that was in Bolton for was it Samuel Atwee and no, it was Oscar.
No, it was Oscar.
Yeah,
what fight that was.
Yeah, exactly. Mason Cartwright and Atwee for that British title. Look what these old British dust-ups do. They produce good fights because it means everything. One, bragging rights. Two, world title. Do you know what I mean? So there's more to it than just there's the bragging rights. You don't want to get beat by a guy that's in your country. Do you know what I mean? Because it's just one of them things. Wales and England and Scotland. Do you know what I mean? It's just again, Eddie Hearn, if you're watching this, get that fight made, mate. Let's get it done, because I think it's a barnstormer written all over it.
Yeah, and there is a pressure on British boxing right now, I think, because we've had Tyson Fury go over to Saudi Arabia last week. We're seeing big fights happen all over the world now, and that's just the world we live in, where there's site fees, places are investing money, and the country we're at and the economy we are in, the government isn't going to pay for an AJ Fury. Do you know what I mean? It's just what we make and what the promoters have to make themselves. So there is a pressure to make the biggest fights possible for this country. And as you said, we've seen it last month with Wood Warrington. We was going to see it this month with Buatsi and Aziz, and hopefully that gets rescheduled. But that light heavyweight division, that needs to be sewn up. We've got Craig Richards, Lyndon Arthur, Anthony Yard. It's so stacked. Callum Smith in January, we know, is going to attempt greatness with Artur Beterbiev. Hopefully, he can bring those belts back, because if he does, and I love Beterbiev, I'm a massive, massive Beterbiev fan. I love his style. I was at the Yard fight, absolutely fantastic fighter. But selfishly, if Callum Smith gets that, and then he's got a little piece in the puzzle or multiple pieces in the puzzles, and then suddenly we've got kind of rights to have all these British world title fights in the light heavyweight division. And this is the sort of thing we should be making. And there's an opportunity to do that there with Joe Cordina and Leigh Wood. So hopefully, fingers crossed, everything crossed, it happens and it gets over the line for probably May 2024.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. And just a little shout out on Monte Carlo. I think that sort of set up, and you could hear the crowd and everything. It was just a small, intimate, for a world title fight. It felt like a small hall show, which you don't get. Obviously, it was a. I've been to Monte Carlo in 2019. Okay. And it's everyone's in a bow tie, everyone's suited and booted, and I think that just a wee touch on Monte Carlo there. I thought it was an absolute. I think it's a great place for a boxing fight, especially that casino and the chandelier and everything that goes with it, man. It was a great night for Joe Cordina. He got the win, and like you said about boxing's a business before it's a sport, Joe. You know what I mean? You mentioned site fees and this, that, and the next thing and whatnot. We all know that the I's need dotted and the T's need crossed and everything like that when it comes to contracts. And it's a bit of a pain in the backside that from the outside looking in, you just want, does that fighter want to fight? Does that fighter want to fight each other? Just fight. But again, these contracts, and I think both fighters will jump at it, Leigh Wood and Joe Cordina. I don't think I just think both of them are just they're at that stage in the career now. What, Leigh's 35 and what, Joe's 31, 32 maybe.
Yeah, I think he's about 31, 32. I think
this is the point now where you want to get in these big fights. You want the big fights, the big stadium fights. You want to showcase your talent against the best. It's okay fighting these guys that, like, no disrespect to Edward Vazquez, but relatively known here in the UK, right? I don't think many people knew who he was when the fight was made. But the Leigh Wood just grabs the imagination, the Leigh Wood fight. And listen, I think it'll be a barnstormer, like I said. And I just fingers crossed that Eddie gets it in 2024. It's going to be a good year. I think if we get that fight, we've got Usyk Fury, Ben Eubank, Callum Smith better be able to kickstart the year in January as well, like you mentioned there. The Dan Aziz and Buatsi fight's probably going to go into 2024 at some point, maybe. I don't think it's going to get made for December, is it? So no. So I think right now we've got some very, very good fights lined up for the beginning of the first quarter of next year, and let's just hope we can carry that to the tail end of 2024. We can see these big fights. Hopefully we get a Joshua Wilder, a Fury Joshua, what other big fights to me? Crawford, Canelo, I don't know, man. Something mental like that. It's just 2024 is looking good, so fingers crossed. Do you know what I mean? We get to see these fights in 2024. But like I said, relatively quiet this week. Normally there's something popping off. There's a story or something like that, but not much happening in the boxing world, which is a strange after the Fury stuff last week, and then Joe Cordina this week. That's relatively quiet, Joe.
Yeah, probably a welcome break after the madness of last week. I think everyone who was out in Saudi needed a little bit of recovery time. Looking forward to next week. Are you in Newcastle? Any for the next gen?
The next gen show, I'm in Newcastle. Looking forward to that. That Northeast is booming with talent right now. Yeah. The Rees brothers, you've got Dan Tower, who's fighting I think he's fighting on the Wasserman card as well in December. You've got Mark Dickinson. You've obviously got Pat McCormack. Some very, very talented boys up in that Northeast, and it's so tune into that because you're going to see some future champions. Even Cameron Vong as well. Forgot about him. He's an exciting young fighter. Sam Jones fighter. He's up there as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I love these next gen shows because you get to see the next generation come through and the next guys that are going to be the superstars. The next guys like you know what I mean, like a George Groves. I know that you had these household names, the Carl Froches, the Cal Zagis, and all these household names.
We need them, mate. We need them.
On you go, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I was just going to say we need the names. We need to kind of develop these stars, and that's what these next gens do. They nurture them, and hopefully, I think Shabazz is now headlining, isn't he? Because he was meant to be fighting on the Liverpool card. Unfortunately, Pat McCormack fights off, but Shabazz is a talent. I love Shabazz Massoud. He's a really, really good talent. He's been a bit plagued with inactivity, but hopefully now with with this contract he's got with Matchroom, he can really start getting the ball rolling. And I think Shabazz Massoud certainly one to look out for. I'm in Brighton this week. Be quite a nice one in Brighton. The return of big time boxing. I think it's the first time since 1991. There's been a big fight in Brighton. I think it was Chris Eubanks Senior's first title defence. If I might be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure Harlan was saying that. And when we had Senior's return to boxing this week as well, which was something I didn't see coming. He's now looking after Harlem. So I'm really looking forward to what should be a really, really good card. You've got, I think, Lerone Richards could be stuck on that card. He's just signed a multi-fight deal with Wasserman.
You've got Roman Fury. I think Lerone Richards is on that card. You've got Zoltan Zurbeck as well, who's trained with Billy Nelson up here. He's a very, very good fighter. Have you seen him fight yet?
I haven't actually seen him fight yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing him fight.
He's good. Watch him. You'll next Sunday, you'll say to me, Andrew, Zurbeck, talent. Mark my words, he's very, very, very good. You mentioned Lerone Richards. I think he is on that card. Harlem, Roman Fury's going to be there. He's fighting on the card as well, isn't he? Roman?
Yeah, Roman Fury. So I think the Furies are going to be in town.
Oh, looking forward to that.
Yeah, mate. And it's going to be a good card. There's a pro debut of a good pal of mine, actually, Tom Welland. He's a very, very, very good talent. And I'm really looking forward to seeing his career develop. But I'm looking forward to seeing Zoltan. I've heard a lot of good things. And do you know what, Andy, which I'm actually even more looking forward to? I've never, and I don't know how...
Ice cream on the pier.
Oh, yeah. Ice cream, chips, all the food there, yeah. But I've never actually met Billy Nelson in person, mate. I've never met your mate. No.
There you go.
It'll be a first time.
Listen, I'm shocked that nobody interviewed him out in Saudi Arabia, man, because we missed out on some huge numbers with Billy.
Mate, don't worry. I'm not going to let that opportunity slide this week. Don't worry, mate. I'll do the bit. I'll do the business. Good
man, well done. And I'll tell him to give you some good quotes, some good titles and stuff like that, because he just says what he wants, Billy, to be honest. And that's why people love him and hate him. But like I said, Joe, very, very quiet. And like you're in Brighton next week, I'm in Newcastle, so we will have a lot more to talk about next Sunday. But until then, go and brush your hair, do something with it, put in a ponytail or something, Joe, and catch you next week.
I think it's the fireworks last night, mate. It went maybe air goes static or something. I don't know.
I know the feeling, big man. Listen, Joe, enjoy your week. I'll see you soon.
See you soon, mate. Thank you very much, Andy. See you next week.